Hey everyone, welcome to Magical Girl Rising Project Episode 2. Yes, I picked this series as my, vlogging series that I'm going to be doing on Metanorn.net. I'll leave a link to the first episode. I did kind of written review, so if you want to read that, I'll put a link down in the description below, and you can just, take a look at that if you want. And, yeah, leave a comment if you want on that post, but either way, it's fine. But, yeah, so this is Episode 2, and this is the episode that kind of, puts things into motion. At least explains a few things of how it's going to be set up. How things are going to move on from here. And basically, we open up with Fav, which is the little mascot character for this series. Kind of like, he explains things to the audience and to the characters in the series. So he's there as like the information bot that kind of feeds us the, little details here and there. But he explains why he has to half all the magical girls because there's too many. Basically, I guess there's not enough mana to keep them all going in this small town, but it's not his fault, he says. And when one of the girls brings up the same thing, they kind of confront him about it, like, why is it our fault that you can't maintain the mana for all of us to be active, all 16 of us. And he's like, well, they miscalculated, which is kind of awkward. I'm like, wow, how'd you figure out that was not going to work? When you set this thing up in place. Unless maybe this little town here is, I guess, has more magical girls than the other cities, maybe? I'm not sure. But each of them basically are, in these little sections of this little city. So they each have their little area, their zone, I guess you could call it. So I guess that's how they're dividing everything up. But there's another, and what's funny is they added another magical girl during all this happening. So technically now there's 17. So it's like, okay, and the girls are kind of concerned about that too. And Fab just says, well, her contract was, you know, already happened as the new rules were put into place. So, yeah, technically it's 17, if you want to get technical, of how many girls are actually in this series now. But as for who she is, we don't know who the mysterious 17th magical girl really is. My theory is it could be the girl we've seen in the first episode during that bloody scene in the beginning, but we don't know. Again, they're going to keep that secret, which I'm hoping, again, I think I said in my post that that is just a hint of a possible scenario happening in the series, but here it is. But now the extra rule is how you thinking, how do they eliminate these girls? It just tells them basically it's a contest who can collect the most candy. If you bring in like the most, you get to stay as obviously you stay as a magical girl. You bring in the least, and you're removed. That's how it works. And after that, we get a little brief, kind of a semi-flashback between Top Speed, which is the witch, and Ripple, which is the ninja magical girl. We see them kind of meet each other. And Ripple even says something about it. You're making this a competition now, that who can get the most candy, and Faye's just like, well, this is how things went. This is how it goes. But we also learned a flashback between these two, the witch and the ninja, that the ninja was going to be trained by Calamity Mary a long time ago, but Top Speed got to her first, so, and there's a little conflict between these two girls. A fight breaks out between Calamity Mary and Ripple, and I just think that was just thrown in there to show you what happens when a magical girl fights another one. There's blood, and you can actually hurt each other, as what Top Speed said, that, to be careful, like, you could actually hurt someone, or maybe even kill them, with their powers they have. And that to me just was, again, added to show you that this is the consequences of fighting other magical girls, which, you can see where the ball's going, where it's rolling into that direction eventually. But right now, the girls haven't really thought about that yet. But a little bit later on, I'll explain, there's reasons why I could see that escalating here soon. And as a side note, does anyone else get the impression that Ripple doesn't want to be a magical girl? Like maybe she was forced into this by accident? Because she doesn't really seem that enthusiastic about it. She's kind of easily the most depressing character I've seen so far in the series. Like, she just doesn't want to be here at all. So it brings the question, why did she become a magical girl? If this is not her thing, why is she playing this game? Why is she playing the app game on her phone if she's not into magical girls? Or is it just that stupid thing where outside she's this way, but inside maybe she's a huge fan of that, magical girls? But it doesn't really show, because they showed her get back to her house, transform or de-transform back to her normal person, and that was it. She didn't turn her into a dark room. So it's like maybe her home life sucks. So the being of this magical girl gets her out of her house. I don't know. It just seems like she doesn't want this power, and it's like, why are you so, sour about everything? Like, whatever. But I know not all of them are gonna be cheery, especially with the new arrangement of the contest. But I don't know. It just seems like she doesn't fit the role as magical girl. She's this tsundere all the fucking time. It's like, what's wrong with you? Anyway, uh, we also learn that Snow White obviously is holding the most candy, and it just seems that it doesn't sit well with other characters, like this girl named Ruler, who she has this team of girls that work with her, but it's more like they're slaves to her, honestly, because the way she talks to them, kind of like this mafia mentality where it's like, I'm the head boss here, and you do what I say, and she's basically sending them out to get candy while she doesn't do anything, as I guess they're giving it to her, so it's like, it seems kind of, messed up how that works, but yeah, we learn more about her a little bit later. And yeah, I'll talk more about her later anyway. But yeah, again, she takes her team as slaves to me, honestly. She doesn't really seem like a friendly type. So, and we get Lapel, whatever, with Snow White, and obviously he's happy that he's with Snow White because he doesn't have to do much work. You know, she's got the most candy. All he has to do is kind of throw his sword here and there, and he's good to go. And it brings the other question, like, is he using her just so he can keep his powers? I mean, obviously, if anyone wants to stay in this game, team up with the person with the most candy. Obviously, that guarantees your spot. That guarantees you're not going to be taken out anytime soon. Which, again, that's another question I just didn't understand. Like, is he really using her, or is he just happy to be her friend, or what's going on between these two? Doesn't seem like he offers much in the realm of like powers. Because they do show a scene where the fire breaks out and Snow White and Bapu, whatever, jump into the fire and help these people. All he does is throw his sword down, break a hole into the roof, and then Snow White grabs the people and jumps out. So it's like, again, like I said, is he just tagging along because she's got the most candy? Since they're a team? It's just an interesting question, I guess. And another side note, to me, it's like if you're struggling to get the most candy in this little game, given the powers that these girls have, it's like, couldn't they start these disasters? Like, imagine if one has the ability to control fire. They could burn down a building, or set it on fire, wait till it gets to about when everyone starts to be in danger, and then magically jump over there, put the fire out and save these people, and get raking the candy that way. It certainly wouldn't be a bad idea, because even like Calamity Mary is doing that right now. She's going after these criminals that people know about. So it's like, she knows criminals are out there and going for them. So it's like, I wouldn't put past some of these girls to actually consider that, causing a disaster, an earthquake or something, and then stopping it, saving everybody, and get credit for it. Fav hasn't really, explained little details of these little tiny rules yet. So I wouldn't be surprised if one of them kind of found that loophole, that, especially with some of these girls with the powers they have. Next thing we meet is Snow White meets a new girl, which you've seen her before, Nemerin, which is this girl who, I guess her power is to enter your dream and save you from a nightmare. And they do show the example of this, where there's a little kid, he's dreaming about a monster attacking the city, and he's scared, and she jumps in there and saves it. But this is all done in like a little cartoonish design, so it's not that, nightmarish looking to us. So Nimrin's power, again, obviously, is to, fix your dreams. But Fab kind of tells her, you can help people in the dream world, and that's great. And you get candy through that, but that doesn't apply to the real world. And she needs to get out there and actually help them. But I'm like, how is she supposed to do that? Her power is limited to just dreams. So I'm like, maybe she's super strong, I guess all of them are, but how do you apply that power to like a real world scenario such as the fire this week? Maybe you can cause the people to maybe sleepwalk and they walk out? Who knows? I don't know, it's kind of weird. And so we get a little bit between those two. Nimrin is I guess a NEET in the real world, and she doesn't have a regular schedule, so she's up all night. She doesn't sleep very much, sleeps during the day, up at night type thing. And, yeah, she likes her powers because, again, she doesn't leave her house. That's why she likes the power that she has in the magical girl world. In the real world, because it kind of helps. She doesn't go outside in either form, basically, which is kind of interesting. But obviously, we hit the end of it where Nimrin also failed to collect the most candy because she's pretty lazy when it comes to helping people and doing that. So yeah, so we get a little thing here. This is kind of disturbing, but to me, she says her goodbyes to everyone in the virtual hangout chat room thing they're in, and it just gets straight deleted. It just comes across the screen deleted. So it's kind of a even Snow White feels that was kind of wrong. Like, shouldn't she be able to log out and that's it, not just get deleted in the virtual world? So it's kind of screwy to her, which obviously to everyone else, same thing. And we get some little thing here at the end, which is kind of weird. That Fav, tells Dimmer, even though your powers are gone, you get one more chance to transform one last time. So Nimrin's like, well, why not? It's fun. She does it one last time, and she decides, I'm gonna enter someone's dream just to experience that one more time. And she jumps in a nearby dream. It's kind of like this Victorian age where there's, all these. It's a carriage being pulled by horses, and there's a girl sitting in the carriage, and Nimrin kind of sits beside this little girl and asks her, like, what's your dream about? And she's dreaming about being a princess. And they kind of glance over, and it's actually Ruler sitting in the carriage as the princess in this scenario. And it makes you wonder if that is that Ruler's dream as a kid, like to be a princess, but that kind of isn't what she is now. She's kind of like a dictator almost, because she does boss people around. That's and given with her title, her name is Ruler. That's part of her ability to maybe rule over somebody, or you can't disobey her or something like that. Which is kind of weird. All the characters have that kind of in their name tells you their power. Well, certain characters. Ripple doesn't really work. That's I know it's attack from JoJo, but how does that describe a ninja? To me, it doesn't. So some of them it can work, some of them it doesn't work. Like Snow White being able to hear people's thoughts. That's not. I don't remember Snow White having those kind of crazy powers in the Disney movie. So, but anyway, we get to the end of that dream, and it's nice to see Nimrin use her powers one last time. But here's the catch: after the power ran out, you basically. I guess she's laying on the bed, and her mom walks in, trying to wake her, and she can't wake her up. So basically, you die in the real world after you're eliminated from the game. So that's the catch that no one knows about right now. So they don't know that you die after you're done, if you're eliminated, which is kind of a thing. I think I saw most people probably like, oh, I saw that coming, but I really kind of didn't. I just assumed that she's done and she loses her powers. No, I didn't know they're gonna go the extra step and actually kill the girl off. And what makes it also kind of worse is a lot of these girls don't know each other in the real world. Besides Snow White and her friend, they don't really know the others outside of that. So it's kind of like Snow White's probably never gonna know the fact that Nimrin died after losing her powers. So it's like again the hard hitting fact of the series, but it is a interesting one that they can throw in there. And then, my last thing here is I can actually see where the series is going. I mean, most people probably seen it a mile away last week when the first episode came out. But this one is, obviously Snow White has the most candy, therefore making her, like, untouchable right now. She won't lose the game anytime soon. So it makes me think the other girls, especially like Ruler, might go after her. I wouldn't be surprised if she tells her little minions, whatever you want to call them, to go after her next time you see her in the outside world as a magical girl, take her out, or maybe trying to find out who she is in the real world. I wouldn't be surprised if one of these girls in her group is a hacker in the real world. You don't know. They could figure this out. But yeah, so you can see where it's going, sort of. I mean, they'll probably get the idea that, hey, if I kill so and so, I can take their candy from them, which is what I think they're going to be going with. Not just killing each other just for the sake of killing each other. Obviously, there's a end game involved of the girls' reasoning why they're killing each other. Or maybe they won't get to that point at all. Weird to see how the ball kind of rolls in that direction. I mean, I could see it going that way right now. But, yeah, so I drew a picture of Nimrin just because it was her episode, kind of technically. I really liked her, but, it is sad to see her go. But, and also the last note is, since there was 17 originally, and Nimrin was killed off, so now they're 16 again. So it's like it's kind of a senseless death for her almost, just to. But I know for the audience, it was thrown in there to show you this is what happens when you eliminated from the game. Not only is your avatar deleted in the VR world, but your magical girl powers are gone and your life is taken from you. So it's like a triple whammy right there, just all three things hitting at once. And all these girls don't know that, but again, that is the catch of the series. But anyway, next time I'll draw whoever the episode focuses on. Maybe we'll get some with a ruler next time, since she was kind of almost like the secondary new character we got to meet. And or Calamity Mary, I mean, she obviously they're setting her up to be maybe the in-game boss of the series. That maybe she has so much candy, that maybe she's way above Snow White. You don't know. So until next time, see you guys next week.